At our college reunion, my lifelong best friend, the one who had sworn she would never marry, showed up wearing a diamond ring. What kind of Prince Charming tempted our Blair to break her vow and walk down the aisle? Blair waved both hands in surrender. We aren't even engaged yet, it's just a promise ring. I was about to tease the truth out of her when I remembered that my husband had recently swapped rings, and the new one looked strikingly similar to the stone on Blair's finger. I told myself I was imagining things, but later, when classmates toasted Blair, my husband jumped in first and took the glass from her hand. I'll drink for her. He downed the shot in one gulp, and everyone praised his old-school gallantry. I stared at the fresh glass someone had poured for me and said nothing. When we got home, I packed every last item of mine. We're done, I said. Let's part on good terms. Mason gaped, snatched the suitcase, and hurled it across the floor. Stop this nonsense. What ridiculous jealousy is eating at you now? Before we go on, make sure you subscribe to this channel and tell us in the comments where you're listening. I give you everything except freedom outside of marriage. You bragged to everyone that I'm a model husband, and now you want a divorce over some petty suspicion? He spoke as though I were staging a scene and urged me to cut it out. I gave a short laugh, walked to the cabinet, and brewed myself a cup of detox tea. Tell me, how many toasts did you block for her tonight? 7. Every single person at the table toasted her once, and I drank almost every round for her. When they came after me, you even egged them on. He frowned and shot back. Didn't you tell me she's nursing a cold and shouldn't drink? She's your best friend. So it's fine for me to poison my own liver? I drained the detox tea, my eyes stinging, and tears finally slipped free. When you were building Sterling Tech, I did sales for you and ended up ruining my stom. ACH. After that, you never let me touch a drop. I mentioned once that she has a cold and you remember to guard her glass all night, yet you forgot our dating anniversary last week. Last business trip you bought her an armload of designer bags and brought me nothing but a souvenir postcard. Mason, search your heart. Do you treat Blair the way a man should treat only his wife? You're more concerned about her than about me. Do I need another reason to divorce you? Mason looked utterly baffled. He grabbed my hand. Scarlett, have you been binge-watching soap operas? I don't have those feelings. You've never cared for handbags or jewelry, have you? I drank for her tonight only because I saw you worrying about her health. I was being thoughtful to my wife. I'm swamped at work and exhausted. Can we stop this? For years I've given you my whole heart, and now you twist every little thing. Don't you think that's cruel? He led me to the display cabinet and started pointing out relics of our past, travel souvenirs, gifts he'd hunted down on trips. My gaze landed on the embroidered amulet on the top shelf. I took it down and held it in front of him. You said the stitched wings mean we'll fly side by side for life. Why does Blair have an even fancier one? Without missing a beat he answered, you know her, she always has to own the most exquisite version. While you were away on that trip, she told me she was taking a vacation. You went together, didn't you? No wonder you barely answered my texts, someone else monopolized your attention. Mason, her preferences are so ingrained in you they've become reflex. What about me? After all our years together, am I not worth an ounce of genuine thought? He yanked the amulet back, voice rising. Rubbish. Blair and I ran into each other by chance, there's nothing sordid going on. For years my heart has held only you. I turned down every bachelor night invitation just to come home. I stay faithful, yet you drow. And me in suspicion? Even if you won't believe me, you should know Blair treasures you as her best friend. Stop making scenes. We have the family luncheon tomorrow. Do you want the elders worried? Go get ready. He spoke as though coaxing a hysterical child, then strolled out as if nothing had happened, while I stared at my scattered luggage and sighed. From plaid skirts to a wedding gown, Mason and I had once inspired envy wherever we went. There was a time when he was the textbook perfect boyfriend. He had brains and ambition but came from nothing. He lacked the capital to launch his dream venture. Because I loved him, I fought my own family to secure his first round of seed money. He used to say, over and over, that without me none of his success would exist, and he would spend his life repaying me. Who knew that, for Mason, a lifetime would be so short? I opened Instagram and scrolled until I found Blair's latest post, a snapshot of tonight's dinner. The moment I saw that embroidered amulet, I realized every cryptic photo she'd shared lately had been a taunt aimed at me. She was flaunting the fact that my husband belonged to her now. I recognized the restaurant's decor, drove straight there, and located the private dining room. The door stood ajar. Inside, Blair nestled in Mason's arms, and several of his buddies sat around them. This can't go on. Stop gawking and help me deal with this drama queen. Mason tightened his hold on Blair, forehead creased with worry. Man, you're asking for trouble. Just divorce her and claim your true love. Yeah, Blair's waited for you forever, don't blow it. They all piled on, bad-mouthing me, not one tried to be fair. Some of them even addressed Blair as sis-in-law. Don't blame him. It's my fault, I caught a cold and couldn't drink. If that hadn't happened, you guys wouldn't be arguing. Come on, everybody, drink up and cool down. Playing hostess, Blair fetched the premium liquor I once gave her and prepared to pour. Until Mason stopped her. I already said no alcohol for you tonight. Remember, you're not alone anymore. Blair had always been a legendary drinker, that was why every reunion became a toast fest. Now, at Mason's gentle warning, she actually blushed. Alright, baby comes first. If daddy says behave, we behave. She stroked her belly with maternal tenderness while I stood outside, chilled to the bone. I had assumed Blair and Mason were merely growing closer, never imagined they had already ended up in bed. Sweetheart, did you hear that? Keep an eye on mommy. Mason hugged her tight, his eyes shining with expectation. Scarlett clearly can't give us an heir, the Sterling line is counting on you. I don't get it. She's barren, so why stay with her? She knows her health is shot and still married you, basically scammed your family for the bride price. Blair served pure green tea, don't talk like that. Scarlett's health is fragile, but she's still a woman who needs love. Wanting marriage is only human. She sounded as though she were defending me, yet every word blackened my name further. Our sis-in-law is so understanding. Scarlett's a leech, she wants love but has no idea how to give it. Exactly, Mason comes home and has to pour tea every night, nowhere near as thoughtful as you, sis-in-law. Scarlett's not evil, she just can't give us children, and I've really shielded her from a lot of family pressure over that. Mason kneaded the bridge of his nose, exhaustion written across his face, his words set my teeth on edge. So my infertility had bothered him from day one. I'd been born 7 months early, always the frail one. Daily life was fine, but I'd never carry a child. I'd told him the moment he started courting me. Back then he'd hugged me, heart-achingly gentle. We're modern people, we don't obsess over carrying on the name. I only care whether you're in pain. He'd argued hard and forced his family to accept our child-free life. He'd even said, if we ever want kids, we'll adopt one and give it my surname. Because of that seeming sincerity, I convinced my parents to invest in his startup. Who could have guessed it was all a lie? Forget giving up the family name, Mason was obsessed with a blood heir. The long kiss between the two of them finally ended, and the room exploded in cheers. Brothers, we've watched your love story for ages, when do we get to drink at the wedding? Yeah, now that Blair's pregnant, why haven't you booted that control freak Scarlett? Blair gazed at Mason expectantly, he frowned. Blair, my company's just taking off. If I rush into a divorce, I can't give you or the baby a better life. Even for our child's sake, you have to wait until I'm stable before I negotiate terms with Scarlett. Remember? When you first brought up having a baby, you agreed we'd sit tight till Sterling Tech goes public. I almost laughed. Mason was flying high, but not completely stupid. At least he still remembered who had bankrolled his flight. A man should marry someone as virtuous as you. The buddies exchanged glances and lifted their glasses toward Blair. For the greater good, sis-in-law, we toast you, sorry you have to put up with this. Blair didn't mind at all, she only held Mason tighter. What's there to endure? Scarlett has to win at everything, loves throwing money around, even at me. Now the child she can't have, I'm carrying. The man she loves is mine. How's that for success? Her voice trembled with vengeful glee, and the whole room roared. Their laughter made me the joke. I stepped back, hands over my face, tears seeping between my fingers. Blair and I had been best friends since elementary school, anything good I had, I'd saved half for her. In the end she saw every gift as charity, every kindness as insult, her hatred rooted in my generosity. Lend a little rice, earn gratitude, give too much, reap enmity. My devotion to the two people closest to me had become the very blade they bed me with. I'd showered Mason's buddies with gifts, yet the only sis-in-law they acknowledged was Blair. As Mason's investor and lover, I couldn't even edge into their circle. I wiped my tears, turned on my heel, and called my parents. Dad, Mom, you were right, some deals just aren't worth the ROI. I'm shutting this project down and reinvesting in something that deserves my capital. I spoke with them for half an hour, asking them to pull a few quiet levers for me. If Mason wanted to play this game, he could forget about keeping both the money and the happy harem fantasy. Feigning ignorance, I accompanied Mason to his family banquet the next evening. Sterling Tech was thriving, and the Sterling clan finally had bragging rights. They booked a private dining room to show off. Mason had hired a Michelin-starred chef and decorated the place to the nines. I arrived a little late after tying up some work, only to find Blair greeting guests in my place. She stood beside Eleanor, playing hostess, chatting with relatives as though she owned the room. My mother-in-law guarded her like a precious jewel, no trace of her usual snide manner. The moment one relative left, Eleanor hurried to settle Blair into a chair. "You're carrying the baby, don't tire yourself. You'll regret it if your back starts acting up. Blair, I heard Mason mention you often. Such a sweet, sensible girl. Don't stint on yourself during the pregnancy, understand?" Stingy Eleanor even produced a delicate jadeite bangle and slid it onto Blair's wrist. "You've given our family the gift of an heir, this heirloom is yours now." Blair pretended reluctance. "I couldn't, Scarlett works so hard, this should go to her. After all, she's rarely home these days." Her vague insinuation painted me as an inattentive wife. The relatives' faces darkened. Great Uncle Sterling scanned the room, saw I still wasn't there, and muttered, "I always said a man shouldn't marry some restless capitalist girl. Every female Y member is present, and she has her best friend play greeter. What nonsense is this?" Blair seized the cue, put on a disapproving look, and rose. "We can't keep everyone waiting, I'll go find Scarlett." Eleanor panicked and clutched her hand. "With that belly? Absolutely not." I clicked in on my heels, perfectly late, feigning surprise. Every guest had arrived. I paused deliberately beside Blair. "Sorry, Mason took a call on the way and we were delayed," I said, light and teasing. "Blair, the other day I thought you looked blessed. So you're expecting?" "Had you mentioned you weren't feeling well, I'd have seated you at the head table instead of making Eleanor fuss." Whispers rippled through the room. Why should a best friend sit in the hostess spot next to the mother-in-law? I sat down, Eleanor's face twitched. "Must you be jealous of your best friend? I know you two are close, I was helping care for her." Mother and son certainly shared the same script. "We're only being kind to your best friend for you. So considerate, yet they never spared a thought for me." I gave a cold laugh. Blair jumped up. "I'd never steal your seat, just resting a moment." "Scarlett, you always were sharp-eyed. I was about to congratulate you. When the baby comes, you'll be godmother. We promised that back in grade school, you'll pick the nickname." "Of course. I only wonder whether the baby's father will be jealous of my naming rights." I let the barb fly, watching Blair's face blanch. "You're pregnant and your fiancé hasn't come to support you? If he treats you badly, I'll have to vet him for you." My gentle concern pierced her, she almost couldn't hold her smile. "He's busy, and he doesn't know any of you, but don't worry, he treats me even better than Mason treats you." She spat the last words through clenched teeth. "If he can't stay by your side while you're expecting, he doesn't sound very caring. You'll need to train him better, Blair." I twisted the knife, Eleanor's face blackened. She could barely stop herself from leaping to her son's defense. Mason beckoned the chef to begin introducing the evening's menu. "What are we all chatting about so happily?" Mason's eyes swept the table, landed on Blair's chair, and his brows snapped together. "Why is Blair stuck over there?" Panic flickered across his face. He spun toward my mother-in-law and blurted, "The seat next to me is for Scarlett. Blair's pregnant, she can't perch on that hard stool." I gave him a half-smile and lifted my gaze. "Sweetheart, I was just telling everyone Blair's fiancé doesn't know how to spoil her the way you spoil me. Now that you're here, you seem pretty busy spoiling her yourself." My voice floated, light as silk, and every syllable cranked his anxiety higher. "It's only because she's your best friend," he crooned, desperate. "Pregnant women are delicate, if something happened, you'd be heartbroken." He softened his tone, expression frantic. "We agreed on this yesterday. You have to believe me, there's nothing between us." Eleanor couldn't bear to see her golden boy grovel. She shot to her feet. "Son, why are you begging this woman? Someone is already carrying your child, the real hero of the family, and you're still kneeling to the one who can't give you kids. Divorce her now, before she poisons your future wife." "She just joked that Blair will have to train you later." Shielded by Blair's belly, Eleanor left courtesy in the trash. "This world's upside down. A husband should rule the wife. When did you start kowtowing to this shrew? Listen up, Mason, if you don't end this marriage, that princess will corrupt both you and the baby. Then you'll really suffer." She declared it like gospel. Mason's face flashed crimson, then white. "Mom, everything I do is my choice. I love Scarlett. I only asked you to look after Blair because Scarlett is the baby's godmother." "Shut it. I caught you two making out last time. She's pregnant now, whose child could it be if OTRs? Eleanor folded Blair under her wing, blurting the cheating aloud. "You will divorce Scarlett, period. Mason unraveled. The longed-for grandchild had turned his mother into a saboteur. He glowered, still clinging to denial. Mom, I told you saw wrong, that was my buddy dating Blair. At the banquet meant to showcase Sterling Tech's triumph, he had just broadcast the family dirt to every curious eye. I surveyed his wrecked expression and laughed under my breath. Seems I'm the outsider at my own family dinner. A bleak look slid over his face. I unhurriedly peeled his hand from my sleeve. Your mother pities you for being oppressed. Since she's protecting me, I can't let her down. Armored by Eleanor, Blair poured on the tea. The Sterling line's 9 generations only survived because each heir kept the blood going. It can't end with Mason. I love him more than you do, so I can't watch such a tragedy happen. As your best friend I had to solve this for you, so I'm carrying the Sterling heir. She hugged Mason tight, brandishing her belly like a trophy. I only wanted to guard both of you from the shadows, Scarlett, but I can't let you keep crushing him. He's a real man, how can you force him to do housework just because you're lazy? Blair stroked her bump, face shining with resolve. I love Mason, so I'll give him the best, a child and a worry-free home. Scarlett, men fight out in the world, we women should coddle them so they can relax when they walk through the door. Oh? Mason, is this obedient little comfort flower exactly your type? I arched a brow, voice icing over. She's asking you to pick. Choose. He glanced at me, then at Blair's belly. In the end he still wanted both, the money and the mistress. Let me think. Mason opened his mouth, face twisted in calculation. He wanted my family's cash pipeline and Blair's gentle devotion plus the baby. Since when does the universe hand out free banquets? I chuckled coldly. Think hard, Fizz. And don't share the same plate. With the entire clan watching, I wasn't about to let him off the hook. Finally he threw an arm around Blair, as if that settled everything. Scarlett, you're too strong. After launching Sterling Tech I realized I need a warm harbor, someone who accepts me. I'm sorry, Blair's pregnant. I have to give her a title. Let's divorce. It's my fault, so every dollar I earned after the wedding is yours. He played generous, but the abacus in his head clicked loud enough to hear. All post-wedding income? Sterling Tech was founded before the license was signed. I had pumped advance money by the truckload. His post-wedding take was pocket change next to my ante-up, and every cent of cash flow was chained to the company. He planned to keep the firm I financed and harvest every future upside. Shameless. Without my premarital capital and introductions, would a startup have lured heavyweight partners? Every early RFP bid landed through my Rolodex. Too many smooth years, and he mistakes luck for genius. I studied him, smiling like we'd never met. So the earnest, top-tier graduate had evolved into a marketplace rat. Since you're so generous and want to keep every pre-wedding gift, let me repay the favor. I lifted my phone and sent my assistant a voice text, unhurried. Call the clients we introduced to Sterling Tech and tell them the deal's off. Cancel the latest tender and reopen it, Sterling Tech blacklisted. I laid it out, step surgical. Eleanor jabbed a shaking finger at my nose. My son's a titan. You think these petty tricks will sink him? Dream on. Our company is already listed, we don't need to bow to your Vance. Just wait, my boy's a prodigy. One day he'll tower over your clan and crown himself Eastbrook's richest. Hands on hips, she sprayed insults, terrified of losing face in front of the relatives. Then you, this barren hen, can cower in a corner and envy our dynasty. Her tantrum boosted Mason's nerve. He regarded me with manufactured disappointment. I tried to spare you humiliation, and you fake a phone call for drama? We're past the point of no return, don't imagine you can force me to kneel with company threats. He shielded Blair, clasping her hand like fragile glass. I'm about to be a father, I won't be blackmailed. These years Sterling Tech has thrived through my grind alone. Blair's hustled too, people cooperate because they respect her. She's not like you, she values my work. Sterling Tech today isn't some bug you can squash with a single call. With profit on display, every Sterling relative dropped the popcorn act and stared at me like I was the villain. Blair loves to crow about how much she gives, so that automatically makes her the most self-sacrificing woman alive? I let them bluster and posture, a cold smile pasted on my lips. When the dust finally settles, everyone will see who really holds the cards. Right on cue, Mason's phone rang. What? Chaney Group is pulling their investment? Out of nowhere? They're one of our biggest clients. He hung up and stared at me, his face storm dark. The next call, our longtime clients are canceling left and right? Impossible. 3 days ago they were toasting me at dinner, buttering me up like I was royalty. Cash flow pipeline ruptured? Everything looked rock solid yesterday. Ad rates just doubled? We literally signed the new contracts last week. One call after another, each worse than the last. By the final click of the screen, Mason's skin had turned a sickly green-white. He gaped at me as if I were a demon conjured from hell. "This is your doing, isn't it?" His voice dropped to a growl, half desperate, half deranged. "I had every deal locked and loaded, then one call from you and the tide turns overnight. You can flip an entire market with a 5-minute conversation? Scarlett, we were husband and wife. Are you really going to burn me to the ground?" He seized my wrist, desperation crackling in his throat. I only laughed. "What's wrong, genius? 10 minutes ago you swaggered in here announcing Sterling Tech stayed afloat thanks to your Midas touch. Now the numbers don't add up? Are you sure there hasn't been some misunderstanding? The Vance can't simply crush Sterling Tech with a snap of its fingers." I peeled his fingers off my arm. "Before you demand to know why I'm being so vicious, take a long look in the mirror." My own phone rang. I answered on speaker, nice and loud. "Vance, you personally asked us to give Sterling Tech a chance back in the day, and we did. But after the stunt he just pulled, betraying you, humiliating you, we're out. We don't do business with backstabbers. Going forward, if there's anything we can do for you, just say the word. And please, don't hold his sins against the rest of us." I kept my tone silky. "Of course. Business is business. The Vance only partners with people smart enough to know which way the wind blows." I hadn't spelled out a single threat, yet my message rang crystal clear. Anyone who keeps working with Sterling Tech is declaring war on the Vance. Mason's line rang non-stop, every incoming call another termination notice. Soon his knees were practically knocking. "Davis, you too? You were our very first client, the one who believed in us the most. How can you walk away now?" He was pleading. "Our milestones are 90% complete. If you pull funding at this stage, you'll lose every dollar you've sunk in." Wong's reply came winter cold. "Mason, a man ought to know gratitude. In our world, credibility is currency, and you just declared bankruptcy. Tianhong wants no part of a traitor." Scarlett grew up under our eyes. She swallowed her pride, knocked on doors, pitched you project by project. "And you repay her by flaunting a mistress in her face? You broke her heart, we're merely breaking your contract. You've got talent, boy, but you're leagues short of her league. You wanted independence, well, congratulations. From here on, you're on your own." The line went dead. Mason's legs folded, he crumpled to the floor. "Impossible. They invested because of my vision, my deck. Reality check, every marquee name on Sterling Tech's client list signed only after I'd pre-warmed them." Mason's pitch deck was glossy fiction. Without the proposals I drafted in the shadows, his company would never have closed its first dollar. The few holdouts still answering his calls were minnows whose quarterly revenue couldn't cover Sterling Tech's coffee budget. Watching Mason's spirit fracture was almost comic. Still dreaming? A couple of dinners, a few flattering toasts, and you expected Fortune 500 titans to hand you their wallets? Arms folded, I stared down at him. "When I vouched for you, I told them you were raw but steady, rough but honest. Only then did they agree to a trial run. Now? You're the founder who welched on vows, dumped the wife who built him. Why should they trust a man who can't keep his word to the woman who knows him best?" Mason staggered over and clutched my sleeve, voice cracking. "Scarlett, you're kind, you can't bear to watch everything I bled for evaporate, right? Mason, didn't you want a virtuous little helpmeet? Well, here I am, lazy, vindictive, perfectly happy to train you in the fine art of scrubbing floors while you beg." I shook him off. "Your company is circling the drain, but don't worry, the world's most devoted woman is still here. I hear Blair is excellent at charming investors." Mason swung toward Blair with frantic hope. "Blair, you're all I've got left. You can't watch Sterling Tech implode, can you?" "Of course not, baby. Seeing you bullied tears me apart." She whipped out her phone and dialed her father. The instant the call connected, a volcanic roar erupted through the speaker. "Blair, we bankrolled your MBA so you could moonlight as a home-wrecking tramp? If you absolutely had to be somebody's mistress, couldn't you at least pick a winner instead of a penniless poser? 30 minutes, get your butt home. Terminate that fake OBGYN report and pack for a wedding. You're marrying the evergreen chairman and becoming first lady of a conglomerate." Blair went dead white, shrieking, "Dad! The evergreen boss is 55 and buried 3 wives already, you're feeding me to a walking curse. His horoscope scares off spouses, it doesn't mean he'll murder you. Evergreen's new waterfront RFP bid is crucial. Once you're chairman, whisper sweet pillow talk and secure it for our family." Her father's tone was bored. "Better a trophy wife in a penthouse than a side piece nobody respects." Mason is divorcing Scarlett, Dad, show some mercy. At the mention of the Vance name, his fury reignited. You dare drag the Vance empire into this? Get home, kneel, and apologize. Without their patronage, your couture closet would still be on layaway. Mason's last sliver of hope disintegrated. He slapped himself, dropped to his knees, and crawled toward me. I was an idiot, poisoned by my own ego. Please forgive me, Scarlett. I still love you, so much. Let's tear up the divorce settlement, start over. He shot a savage glance at Blair, still clutching her phone. If you take me back, I'll personally drag her to the clinic and flush that parasite out of her. She fed me lies, swore she adored me more than you ever could. Him and his constant whining about you treating him like a servant, and now he blames me? Blair snapped, ending her call. My father is literally auctioning me off and you're pointing fingers? You'd kill our baby just to save your skin? We both jumped into this bed. She lunged, nails bared. I'm carrying Mason's heir, your family's ticket to immortality. This fake pregnancy is the iceberg that sank my company. You're a walking jinx. Mason hurled a crystal tumbler, shards exploded at Blair's feet, forcing her back. Without you, Scarlett and I would still be envied from Eastbrook to Silicon Valley. 10 minutes ago they were inseparable soulmates, now they tore chunks out of each other like rabid foxes. I applauded politely. Don't stop on my account, this is better than front row opera. Oh, Mason, fun fact, besides you, Blair juggles 3 other boyfriends on a strict weekly rotation. You were simply the most gullible port in her storm, and the bump she's brandishing is courtesy of faux pregnancy pills. Mason reeled as if electrocuted, yanking me back by the shoulder. What did you just say? Explain, now. Exactly what the words mean. I flicked my gaze toward Blair, who had gone the color of old parchment. From a long time ago, Blair never juggled fewer than 3 boyfriends at the same time. As for the baby, I suggest you go see for yourself, so you can't accuse me of slander. Blair, you're this filthy and you still came sniffing around me? Mason exploded. He grabbed Blair and hauled her to her feet. You're coming with me to get tested, see if you've got some disease, see if you're even pregnant at all. I went straight home. When my parents saw my haggard face their hearts broke. My father issued the order on the spot, put the word out, anyone who does business with Sterling Tech is declaring war on Vance. My mother started making calls too, the White family played dirty this time, they won't get another dime from us. They took me abroad to clear my head, I let every one of Mason's calls ring out. Betrayed by both my best friend and the man I loved, but I still had the family who loved me most. While I wandered foreign mountains and seas, trying to forget the ache in my chest, Mason back home was coming apart at the seams. A few days later he sent me Blair's lab results. She had really taken the faux pregnancy pills to strong-arm him into divorcing me. He fired off more than a dozen texts, begging me to see him. I'm sorry, Blair fooled me, but my heart has always belonged to you. I just wanted a child so badly. Shinua, just give you one chance to make this right, please? He followed up with 15 selfies, hoping to lure me back. Don't pull funding, I'm begging you, I'll do anything. I replied lazily, too late. Spilled water can't be scooped back. You thought you could screw up and I'd come running? I snapped a photo of the male model whose abs I'd been tracing and sent it right back. Better body, sweeter temperament. After that line I went silent for good. I called my legal team and told them to handle the divorce. Every client I'd steered to Sterling Tech was getting yanked. All the money I'd invested before the marriage was mine on paper, and I would have it back. Loving Mason once didn't make me a fool. Mason worships money. When this divorce is final, make him return every cent, down to the last penny. The lawyers caught my drift at once. You know how to twist the knife, Vance. Leave it to us. Sure enough, when Mason saw the divorce settlement he collapsed. The company was still technically his, but coughing up that much cash would hollow it out completely. And he was already carrying $1 million loan. He sent me a dozen long voice messages. Shinua, we were husband and wife, do you have to be this ruthless? I laughed coldly. You ate my food, wore my clothes, launched your company with my money, who should pay it back if not you? If things get rough, ask the White family for help. Then I blocked him and waited for the court date. He went quiet for a while, until the day he dared to block the driveway of my mansion. He had Blair by the scruff of the neck, eyes wild. Blair's the one to blame, Scarlett, I dragged her here to apologize. Blair's clothes were shredded, she'd clearly been through hell. She faked a pregnancy and mocked you for being barren. She deserves to die. Mason pinned her and punched her stomach again and again until she shrieked. Since she's so evil, how about I beat her until she can never carry a child, would you like that? His voice as gentle, almost tender, but the words made my scalp prickle. Blair's voice was so hoarse she couldn't form a single coherent sentence. I called security at once. Stop him, call the officers. Mason was like a madman, every blow vicious. Beat her to death, this promiscuous witch. If not for her sweet lies, Scarlett and I would never have fallen apart. Scarlett, I love you. Let's start over, no one can tear us apart. Under his fists, blood began to pool beneath Blair. He really was going to leave her sterile. Stop. She's still on your side, for God's sake. My heart lurched. I hadn't imagined the man who once shared my bed could go this insane. I barked orders, and the guards finally wrestled him to the ground, preventing a murder on my doorstep. 5 minutes later the officers rushed in. Blair's legs gave out, she passed out from the pain. Sorry you had to witness that, ma'am. They cuffed Mason and put me under protection. After that ordeal Blair really was left barren. Disgraced, the White family shipped her abroad and placed her under house arrest. She would never marry. The story splashed across the front pages. Netizens quickly dug up the saga of Mason and Blair's affair and how they'd stabbed me in the back. With the Vance name shielding me, no one pried into my private life. Instead, the public dissected the dog-eat-dog couple down to the bone. Word was, during the days he'd vanished, Mason kept Blair locked inside his house, venting his rage with every torture he could devise. The brutality outraged public opinion, and the court threw the book at him. Sterling Tech went bankrupt under the mountain of debt. The Sterlings were finished. Eleanor roamed from relative to relative begging for loans, but after the disastrous banquet no one dared. Everyone knew Mason's debts were a bottomless pit, lending to him was tossing money into the sea. Finally Eleanor came crawling to me and knelt. Your father-in-law's in the hospital from anger. We know we were wrong. Please, lift a finger and spare the Sterling family. I looked at the once untouchable matriarch, now haggard and gray. I didn't do a thing, every bit of this is on you. I poured that fortune into his startup, and when the venture failed I simply reclaimed what was mine. Eleanor opened her mouth, then slapped herself. I was despicable. I goaded you too by throwing your infertility in your face. I stayed calm. It's ancient history. Thanks for teaching me, some people never deserved an ounce of my sacrifice. Eleanor's face turned ashen, but she kept pleading. At least visit Mason, every time he sees anyone he asks for you. No point. I handed her the promise token Mason once gave me. Give this back to him. We're strangers now. Eleanor left like a ghost. Days later my assistant brought the latest news. Mason had bitten off his tongue in county jail. When I heard it, I was on a foreign square feeding pigeons. Some people cruise through life, then collapse at the first real blow and choose the exit. Even if I'd tried to prop him up, he would have crumbled. I'd already tossed every trace of him from my home. Fly away, pigeons, we're all headed for wider, freer skies. I scattered the feed and watched the birds beat upward into the blue. Love severed, the man dead, no reason to linger over the past. I'm free now, unshackled by romance, and a life of richer color lies ahead. I will meet someone who truly deserves the heart I once gave. Thanks for listening to today's story. If you liked this video, please like and share with friends. We look forward to your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more gripping tales. See you next time.